Well, we're back on fresh track after leaving Lamberts Centre. We've come back through Fink and we're now on the way to Anado Station, or Old Anado Station. It doesn't take very long once you're off the road from Fink back to the intersection that takes you back to Mount Dare, on the way to Anado. The road turns to track real quick. It's still flat road, but it's a lot narrower, and it's definitely more of a bush track, more corrugations. The day today is very overcast. We have had a little bit of phone reception around Fink and enough to get 3G with enough reception to get apps. I've had a look at the weather. It looks like less than 1 mil on most days. There's 5 mil one of our days. Birdsville are getting quite a bit of rain. They're getting up to 15 mil. Not the greatest weather for us, but certainly awesome weather.
Hold on to me like I'm already
One of the benefits of having a camper like this, you open the wing of the camper when you stop for a cup of tea and everything's there. So we've got a full kitchen and fridge, so regardless of whether you're making lunch or snacks, it's all very, very easy. Where's my tea?
You said you wanted a chocolate.
I changed my mind to tea. You told me to change my mind. It's hard to get good service out here, I can tell you that.
Yeah, something ain't right. Oh, something ain't right.
To open the gate.
Something ain't right. Just straighten my shirt, wearing the skirt that my mother gave
To
to
the top, and the gate is shut.
I come up.
We've just come through Anado, I think it's called Anado, yeah, Hip Bins track. Now on the intersection you can go right to Mount Dare, so you can go back to Mount Dare. Bins track continues on. This way we've got Old Anado Homestead up the road. It's heritage listed and there is campgrounds there and they do have showers. So that's only about 18k up. It's very early in the day. We'll have a look at it. We may stay there. We may just keep going too. We don't know. We'll work it out when we get there.
Something's not right. Something ain't right. Oh, something ain't right. Something ain't right.
Just driving along Bins track and we noticed a big section of trees all fenced off with barbed wire. And I know there's a tree that is only found here and nowhere else in the world, and that's the Wadi Tree, and I'm pretty sure that's what that was.
Walking the leaves under the trees without any shoes on, and holding my hand to spin you around, and I sing you a song.
This is Old Anado Station. It is heritage listed. Been like this for a long time, and I'm guessing it'll be like this for a long time. We're not staying here, we just pulled up to have a look. We'll keep driving from here. It's a bit early in the day for us to stop. There is running water. I wouldn't be drinking it, but certainly you can wash your hands in it and wash your dishes up. There are showers and toilets. From what I can see, it's just cold water. The caretaker I don't think is here very often. I would be very surprised if it wasn't just a ranger. The campgrounds, there's lots of area to camp, but there are very few trees, so you'll be camping in the elements. So if it's windy, you're going to feel the wind. If it's sunny, you're going to feel hot. And at the moment it's cold and windy, just a little bit too barren for me. We'll move on. So the track we're on now, we're travelling between the Old Anado Homestead and the beginning of the Madigan line. There's a bit of a green area just before the Madigan line starts. That's about 60 kilometres away from where we are. So we're going to try and make that. If the track stays like it is now, shouldn't be any problem at all doing that. We'll camp there for the night and then start the Madigan in the morning. We're just driving through the conservation reserve. where the Wadi trees are on the western side of the Madigan. These trees are just incredible. Like when you look at them, you think, yep, I haven't seen these anywhere before. Apparently the Wadi tree is only found in this reserve. There's nowhere else in the world, and there's nowhere else in Australia that these things are found. These trees probably littered the place at one point, and this is it. This is all that's left. I'm just driving on the track around the reserve and all the way to the Madigan. This is the beginning of the track that you actually need a permit for. The birds on this track are unbelievable. Like there's thousands and thousands of very small, I hesitate to call them finches because they look more like the size of wrens. But there's a couple of different sorts. There's a really small one and there's a not even a mid-size, still a small bird, but much bigger than the wren that's flying around. There's thousands of them hiding in the grass. After leaving the reserve, we stopped at East Bore and had a look. It's still early in the day, it's only 2:45. Camp 1 and 1A are only about 17k up the track on the Madigan. So we're going to make for Camp 1 or 1A, one of the two, today, and we'll camp there for the night. A bit of a drama today. My aerial came off twice. I've left it off with all the corrugation. I've just tightened the aerial down, put a bit of duct tape in, and hopefully as it's going over the corrugation, it's just spinning like that crazy, and it's come off twice now, so I'm hoping that holds it. The only thing better than a good Leatherman, two good Leathermans. On our journey over here, one of the problems I found with the sand flag was this unscrewing. So what I'm doing now for this leg over the Madigan, I've screwed them up nice and tight. I'm going to duct tape them so they can't unscrew. So sand flags, absolutely necessary in the desert. The group the group in front of us ended up behind us because one of the guys in the group didn't have a sand flag, and the ranger basically said you can't go in. Good old duct tape fixes everything. You know, that's not holding anything, it's just stopping it from unscrewing. Old toolbox is very handy. It keeps all the bits and pieces that you're going to need should something bad go wrong. Something bad happen. Nothing bad's happened, but I need to get on the roof where I'll store the empty 30 litre jerry once I've emptied it into the car. This particular brand, they're out of the 20, so I've got a 30 thinking, no, it'll be all right. It's very heavy. A little breather on the back here, just break that breather. For the Madigan trip from Mount Dare to Birdsville, we measured it out at around 900 kilometres, bought 70 litres in jerrys and got a 140 litre tank, so 210 litres of fuel. We're done. So the sun's starting to set, last light, can't see the sun anymore. The red dust out here is just so light, I'm sure it's just drifting around the air at the moment. It's on everything. It's absolutely on everything. Every time I hit something, I got red dust. We'll have an early mark tonight. We had a huge day today. Just let the tyres down for tomorrow's trip. I was on 35 and 22, mostly because of the shale between Dalhousie and Mount Dare. So I've dropped pressures back down to 28 at the back and 16 at the front. Well, I think that's about it from me today. I'll catch you in the morning. What's for dinner, love? How good is that? Why would you eat anywhere else? Morning. Can you hear the budgies in the background? There are budgies everywhere here. Everywhere. Wow. It's really cool this morning, Camp 1. When the first light came up, I didn't think there were going to be any birds at all, because normally at first light's when you hear all the birds. It wasn't until about an hour later that the budgies turned up in their thousands. And so did the zebra finches. They were everywhere. I was having a shave just by this tree. Shaver going, electric shaver. And about a dozen finches flew into the tree right beside me. They didn't care. I've been quiet and stealth and trying to catch these things to get a picture of them for ages, and haven't been able to. Turn my shaver on and boom, toasting coffee for breakfast, and we're going to hit the road. Track again, and I'm like a kid in a lolly shop. There is so much wildlife, it's unbelievable. Just thousands and thousands of budgies. Lots of finches. We saw one eagle. We didn't get it on film. I'm so sad that we didn't, but we saw an Australian busted fly. Galahs. I'm not sure whether they're falcons or hawks, but they're smaller than an eagle, but they're quite a big bird, and they're a bird of prey. Not 100% sure what they are. I will get the bird book out later and have a look. But zebra finches by the dozens. Quite a good morning when it comes to life in the desert. Just had smoko and got back onto the track. We came across a Mitsubishi coming toward us. He'd gone to Camp 6 with the intentions of going through to Birdsville. Last night they got a weather report. Birdsville found that it is going to be between 50 and 70 mil over a 2-day period. We're still heading east, obviously, toward Birdsville. What he did tell us was, we heard thunder last night. Well, we thought we did. We started to get a sprinkle of rain, and then it all seemed to disappear. We saw the thunder clouds, we saw the storm clouds, but we didn't get much of it. He was saying up at Camp 6, they had lightning strikes right next to them. They had massive rain, lots of wind, a proper storm. So it's quite wet up at Camp 6. Just between camps 4 and 5 at the moment on the track, we've run across this sign for the Coulson's track, which goes straight down the middle here. Coulson's track, if we were to turn onto Coulson's track now, it runs south all the way back to the French line. And the sign is this. I'll tell you, that'll be an easy one to miss. The track we're driving on at the moment, fairly good track. We plugged in Camp 5 from Camp 1 to Camp at 5, but we're probably going to keep going. We got here way quicker than we thought. It's only just gone midday, and we're only about 3 or 4 kilometres from Camp 5, so Camp 6 is another, I think, 15 or 20 kilometres down the road. We'll probably do that. We're approaching Camp 6 now at Madigan. We'll probably stay there for the night. It's really different driving Madigan over the tracks on the South Australian side. It's almost like you're driving through a bush over this side with lots of rough bits, rough being rocks as well as rough terrain, big crevices and washouts, whereas over the other side it was just all dunes. I'm sure we will see dunes this way. I've no doubt that'll happen, but even now we're approaching quite a big washout where the driving is a little more technical than it was on the south side. Driving through a clay pan here, and it's quite boggy. Given the rain they got last night, I don't doubt that it's boggy, but there's actually water lying on the top of the surface through here. There's a lot of growth in the middle of the tracks. There's a lot of grass, a lot of spinifex, even flowering plants in the middle of the track. Just hoping as we get toward the other end, when the fuel is too low to come back, that it's not so boggy that we can't pass. Another dune that we're approaching here. The dunes are bumpy, but they're redder and steeper. Not as high as the South Australian side so far, but definitely a little bit more technical, I think, than the South Australian side. I've done probably a couple of dozen dunes now, and they're definitely a lot lower than the ones we did travelling from the east to the west and Rig Road. They're much steeper and they're certainly soft. Some of these dunes you've got to slow down right at the top because you've no idea which way the track's going to angle down on the other side. Sometimes it veers to the left, sometimes to the right, sometimes straight over, but never the same way twice. Slow down when you get to the top of the dune, or you just miss the track altogether. I just did. You'll only do it once. I've done it a few times, but you'll probably only do it once. The vehicle I'm driving is a 2017 D-Max. I've had it since new. The engine hasn't been tuned or chipped or anything like that, but I have got a hike it throttle control module in here. So that's hike it in auto mode. It selects what it's going to drive in. Press it once and it goes straight to hike it mode. That gives you the most throttle sensitive pedal. Makes you go quick when you touch the pedal. And then 3 in, that's economy mode. Now economy 1's what it's on now. It's what I've been driving up and down the sandhills currently. For the flats areas where there's quite a lot of travelling, I'll put it in economy 3, and that's been doing okay too. And you can see there, it's currently at 14.7 litres per 100 kilometres. And the distance, that's an average for the distance over 434 kilometres. Oh, there was a big step off the edge on that one. So far as the engine goes, these are made, this is the 4JJ1 engine, and it's basically a really dulled down version of a normal truck engine, and you can get a lot of horsepower out of these engines if you want to give it a tune, but it costs a lot of money to do that, and tell you the engine in its standard form is all you need for this type of touring.
We have just arrived at what is Camp 6 on the Madigan line. This would be it. Camp 6, star picket, with a very small sign that I can't read. Seems a good spot. Sadly, there are no bushes for it, and it's just about to set up.
And that's camp, pretty much set up, and it's that easy, it truly is. Garmin Overlander, it's really been doing a good job. I can't fault it. It's got all the camps on it. You just type in Madigan space and all the camps come up along the Madigan line. You pick the one you want and it'll take you to it. The top blue flag is Mount Dare, and you can see we went out to Lamberts Centre. That's this little wing here, out and back. And that black line's where we've travelled up to the Madigan. The Madigan starts up here. I think it's Bin's track, you travel out to the Madigan. And then the black line on the Madigan is where we've gone from the beginning. We camped down here at Camp 1 last night, and we're up here where the blue triangle is. That's Camp 6. So tomorrow we're going to try and push 92 kilometres out and drive from Camp 6 through to Camp 11. It's a very expensive bit of kit, and I know if you've got an iPad and get Humor Maps, it'll do all the same stuff. There's a lot of things the Garmin will do that you won't get on an iPad, or you may get, but it'll be through various apps. You get it all in one with the Garmin, and I have done a video already on the Garmin, so I won't bore you with it, but I'll put a link in the video below, in the description below, to that Garmin video if you want to have a look at it. I know what you're thinking, and it's not what you think it is. We got this from Burstful before we started, and it's to chase the flies, they reckon.
Fly wit.
It's even got pictures of flies on it. Oh, the sun is setting. The sky's going a million different colours at the moment. Yellows, blues, pinks, purples, greys, whites. It's something you just don't get used to. You could see this every day and think it was special. It truly is an amazing thing. Rustling in the background is the better half, who you haven't really formally been introduced to. Annie? YouTube. Say hello.
Hi, YouTube.